Good, perfect. So as I was saying in the previous video, what we created is basic routing and a navigation bar that we see in here. We have a new nice component that we can include in there, and that takes me to the About page using React Router. But in the About page, I don't have the navigation bar, and I should be showing it too. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create like a very basic templating system, and we can do that in multiple ways. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to call it like maybe base page or base template probably. I think in the pages folder should be fine. I'm actually starting to think that this will look better in here. So let's see if I can move that and then update all of the imports. Hopefully that will work. So that way now I have my components and my pages in here. So this one seems to be working, this one as well. Hopefully it didn't break anything. So now I have my pages, and then in here I'm going to have my base template, which is going to be yet another React component, and Copilot is telling me exactly the answer in there, but for the moment let me build it from scratch. Come on, be quiet, Copilot. Oh my goodness. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just, like for the moment, return nothing. So the way this base template is going to work is that I am going to be creating, like taking all of the things that I want to see in every single component. Like for instance, I want to be rendering the container and the navigation bar, and then I need this container in here, and I can put it in there as well. Right, and then on top of that, I could also go and say, like, I don't know, like if you start creating like a footer, I kind of like that suggestion. Thank you very much. Well, that's good, Copilot. You could go and extract this into a separate component. It is too basic for the moment, so I think this should be fine. And then here comes the interesting thing. Remember that in React, like components can have states and props. The state is the component's own data, and the props is the data that is received from the parent. So I could go and say, I'm going to receive a prop that I'm going to call the children. And then basically what I want to do in there is that I want to render the children in here. Notice that this is kind of an iframe way of passing props. The way that you will use that is that you will need to wrap your index page into with, or like wrap it with, I guess, with the base template, as you see in here. So I can do that one, and then of course, oh good, perfect, I imported that in there. I probably need this one in here, and I also need the container imported in here. I wonder why the ESLint is not warning me about those errors. I will want it to be more adamant about that. And then this base template is going to include everything inside. So again, if I come in here, now you can see that we have the footer, and we also have the listings on the top, the navigation bar. And we can replicate that, like including everything into the base template inside all the pages we create. Or the other way we could do it is, and this is an idea a student mentioned during class in the in-person version, is that instead of doing this one, what if we actually like remove this from here, and since we are rendering everything in the main.js, so what if we actually wrap everything into my base template? So as long as all of my pages have exactly the same template, then this should work. Oh, and I love that Visual Studio Code was smart enough for copying that in here, and then I don't need that one in there. Now you can clear that up, and now you can see that it was included in here. And if I go to the listings or the about, it also shows it in there, and then we dance. So basically, very quickly, as a quick recap, what we did is that we created a base template, which is just a React component that takes as a parameter or as props like the children, and then the way you use it is that you, instead of passing parameters like you will normally pass your props using like the attributes of the element, what you do is that you just pass the elements, you just pass the other components you want inside, like this, okay? And that is the one that is allowing us now to have these nice things in here. In the next video, we are going to start then looking probably on some authentication and things like that using Passport Local. And actually, let me go and commit this, because I have forgotten to do that, and then say that in basic React router and React router and base template. Good. Git push. Now I actually, yeah, like this video is not long, so let me show you something else that we need. And is that, remember that we are running this in development mode, but if we want to deploy, basically you want to build this React project, and then we want to test it using the port 3000, which is the port for the backend. So if I go in there and then I do that one, this one works, and then, but when I go into the about page, then it doesn't. So the reason for that is that here on my backend.js, I am loading the static folder in here, but I'm not, like, basically, and now this is the one that is handling the routes. So if I want to load something else, then what I want to do is to load that specific file. So if you search online, so I face this problem, and then you say Express 5, and then how did I say that? Express 5 serve React router static, probably, and then you can see like there is a bunch of examples, and here is the answer that Gemini provides with autocomplete, or the Gen AI. And then if you come in here in Stack Overflow, you can also see an answer in there. But if you see somebody actually added this, who was me, so as a solution. So basically in here what we need is to provide something like this, and then I do need the path, which if you want to use Express modules path, can you give me that quickly? Damn it. So I guess, oh, the path is not the problem. I think my problem is their name. There we go. And hopefully this will get me, yes. So this is the code snippet that we want from that. And basically what these two things do, it's that because since we are using Node Express with ESX modules, like this variable, their name and file name, they don't exist. So that's why we need those in there. And then if you wanna import path, didn't I? And then so let's say path and their name, or actually, yes, I guess let's do it this way. So, and then that way in there, hopefully that will work. So basically what this is saying is that every time you receive any other request, I'm not completely sure, but I removed it and then it stopped working. But if you get any other request for any other file, then I want you to send the index file that is inside this folder. I guess like this one, and probably like that, I guess. Excuse me, and then let me check if that works in here. And yes, now it works. So basically what this thing is doing. And by the way, you need this splat. You need this splat in there, because in as I was providing here in the answer I gave, although it doesn't seem to have the comments. Oh, that's kind of sad. But like here maybe. So so it actually made it in there here with this name wildcards. This is the one that I was looking. So if you look in the documentation, in version 5 of Express, which is the one that we are using, you cannot use star. You have to have a name for the wildcard, and that name seems to be Splat. I'm not completely sure why. I'm not sure if it is any name that is putting in there, or like if it is suggesting like matching everything. So I just went with that. Okay. So again, in the next video, we're going to try with Passport.